I used your college fund for my dream house. My sister-in-law bragged she didn't know that $600,000 was already gone. And I was about to expose her. I used your college fund for my dream house. Vanessa's voice dripped with satisfaction through my phone speaker as I stood in my small Cleveland apartment kitchen. You're never going back to finish your degree anyway. Time to grow up and face reality. I gripped my Formica countertop, feeling the worn surface under my fingers as I processed her words. The $600,000 education fund my grandparents had left me, gone. Or so she thought. Interesting, I replied, my voice steady despite the fury building inside me. And how exactly did you manage that? My name is Jenna Rodriguez, and at 29, I'd spent the last 7 years working as a bookkeeper at Henderson & Associates while slowly building my way toward my dream of finishing my veterinary degree. What my sister-in-law Vanessa didn't know was that I'd been expecting this move ever since she married my brother Tyler 4 months ago. Oh, it was easy, she laughed, clearly disappointed by my calm reaction. Tyler still had access to the account from when your grandparents first set it up. All I needed was his signature. The house is gorgeous, by the way, 5 bedrooms in Westlake with a 3-car garage. Much better use of the money than some silly dream of becoming a vet. I could picture her smug expression, probably admiring herself in one of those oversized mirrors she'd insisted Tyler buy for their current rental. Vanessa had swept into our lives like a tornado 8 months ago, convincing my brother she was his soulmate after just 3 weeks of dating. I'd seen right through her designer facade, but Tyler was too enchanted to listen to reason. Well, thanks for letting me know, I said, opening my laptop on my small dining table. I hope you enjoy the house. That's it. Vanessa's voice rose with frustration. No crying? No begging? Come on, Jenna. Where's the drama? I was expecting tears, maybe some groveling. I ended the call without responding and pulled up my email. There it was, the confirmation I'd been waiting for from my attorney, Patricia Williams. The transfer Vanessa and Tyler had attempted had been blocked. The funds had already been moved to a new secure account 3 weeks ago. My grandmother had always said, trust your gut, but protect your assets. She'd built Rodriguez Financial Services from nothing in the 1970s, teaching me everything she knew about safeguarding money before she passed 5 years ago. When Vanessa started asking suspiciously detailed questions about my college fund during Sunday dinners at Olive Garden, I knew it was time to put those lessons into practice. The irony wasn't lost on me. Here I was, using my grandmother's financial wisdom to outmaneuver someone who thought I was just another naive dreamer. I dialed Patricia's number, my hand steady despite the anger still simmering beneath the surface like a pot about to boil over. Hi, Patricia. I just got the call we were expecting. Has everything been documented? Every attempt they made to access the account has been recorded, Patricia confirmed, her voice professional but warm. The timestamps, the forged documents, everything. Your brother's signature appears to have been coerced or forged entirely. Do you want to proceed with pressing charges immediately? I thought about Tyler, my sweet but gullible older brother who'd always been terrible with money. He'd protected me growing up in our rough Detroit neighborhood, standing up to bullies and helping me through our parents' bitter divorce when I was 12. Now he was married to someone who made those childhood bullies look like amateurs. Not yet, I replied, walking to my bedroom and opening the bottom drawer of my old oak dresser. Let's wait for them to realize the transfer failed. I want to see what Vanessa does next. Inside the drawer was a thick folder labeled Grandma's Letters. I pulled out the most recent one, written just weeks before she passed away. The handwriting was shaky but determined. My dearest Jenna, I'm leaving you this money because I believe in your dream. Veterinary medicine isn't just a career for you, it's a calling. Don't let anyone tell you it's too late or too hard. And most importantly, don't let anyone take this opportunity from you. You're smarter and stronger than they think. Love always, Grandma Rosa. I traced her signature with my finger, remembering how she taught me to analyze handwriting patterns when I was just 10 years old. That knowledge had helped me spot the inconsistencies in Tyler's signature on the transfer documents Vanessa had submitted to First National Bank. My phone buzzed with a text from Tyler. Hey sis, Vanessa's really excited about this house in Westlake we're buying. I know the money was for your vet school, but you've got a decent job already. Family should help family, right? A familiar ache settled in my chest. Tyler had always been a dreamer, jumping from one get-rich-quick scheme to another, cryptocurrency, multi-level marketing, day trading. Vanessa had clearly figured that out within days of meeting him at that singles mixer in downtown Cleveland. Another text came through, the realtor needs the money by Wednesday. You're not mad, are you? I signed the papers yesterday. I started typing a response, then deleted it. Let them figure out on their own that their plan had backfired spectacularly. Sometimes silence was the most powerful response of all. My computer chimed with an email notification. The Ohio State College of Veterinary Medicine admissions office, confirming my interview for next Friday. I'd already been quietly completing prerequisites at Cleveland State's night program while working full-time. The money from my grandparents wasn't just sitting idle, it was an investment in my future, one I'd been carefully planning for 3 years. I opened my blinds, looking out at Cleveland's skyline as the sun set behind Lake Erie. Vanessa thought she had one, that she'd crushed my dreams with a few forged signatures and a smug phone call. She had no idea that she'd just walked into a trap of her own making. My grandmother's words echoed in my mind, sometimes the best revenge is letting people think they've beaten you, right up until the moment they realize they've beaten themselves. Wednesday was only 4 days away. I wondered what excuse Vanessa would give the realtor when the money didn't appear in her account. More importantly, I wondered how she would explain to Tyler why she'd tried to steal from his sister. I picked up my phone and texted Patricia, send me everything you've documented. I want to be ready when this all falls apart. Then I turned back to my veterinary school application, a small smile playing at my lips. Vanessa thought she was destroying my dream. Instead, she was about to learn a valuable lesson about underestimating the quiet ones in the family. Tuesday evening arrived with a flurry of increasingly frantic text messages from Vanessa. The bank says there's some kind of delay with the transfer. What's going on? Jenna, I know you're getting these messages. Call me back now. You think you're so clever, don't you? Tyler is devastated. How could you do this to your own brother? I sipped my coffee from my favorite mug, a ceramic one shaped like a golden retriever that Tyler had given me for Christmas 3 years ago, and reviewed the documented evidence Patricia had sent over. Everything was there, Vanessa's multiple attempts to access the account, the forged signatures, even recordings of her calls to the bank where she tried to impersonate me using information she'd gleaned from our family dinners. My phone rang. Tyler's name appeared on the screen. Jenna, we need to talk. His voice was tight with anxiety and confusion. Vanessa says there's some kind of problem with the transfer. There is, I replied calmly, setting down my mug. Would you like to know what really happened, or do you want to keep pretending your wife didn't just try to steal my education fund? Silence stretched across the phone line like a taut wire about to snap. It wasn't stealing, he said finally, but his voice lacked conviction. I signed the papers. We're family. Did you actually sign them, Tyler? Or did Vanessa forge your signature after showing you different documents entirely? More silence. I could almost hear the pieces clicking into place in his mind like a puzzle finally coming together. Come over, he said finally. Please. I need to understand what's really going on here. The trap was about to spring shut. An hour later, I sat in their cramped living room in Cleveland Heights, my laptop open to display the damning evidence. Vanessa paced behind their second-hand couch, her designer heels, probably knockoffs, clicking against the hardwood floors she'd insisted they refinish last month using Tyler's savings. As you can see, I explained, pulling up the forged documents on my screen, these signatures don't match your usual handwriting, Tyler. The bank's fraud department spotted the inconsistencies immediately. You have no right to interfere with that money. Vanessa burst out, her composure finally cracking. It was just sitting there while you play pretend about veterinary school. We needed it for our future. Needed it. I raised an eyebrow, pulling up another document. For what? A house you can't afford? More designer knockoffs? Or was it to cover the gambling debts you've been hiding from Tyler? Her face went pale as fresh snow. Tyler turned to stare at her, his expression shifting from confusion to betrayal. What gambling debts? He asked quietly. I pulled up another document, a credit report Patricia had obtained during our investigation. Your wife has been busy, Tyler. For maxed-out credit cards, 3 personal loans, and regular withdrawals at the Horseshoe Casino downtown. Did you wonder why she was so interested in accessing my college fund? Vanessa's perfectly constructed facade crumbled like a house of cards. You had no right to look into my finances, you little. Actually, I had every right, I interrupted. You tried to steal my money. Did you really think I wouldn't protect myself? That I wouldn't notice when you started pumping me for information about my account details during family dinners? Tyler sat heavily on their couch, his face ashen. Vanessa, is this true? The gambling. It's not what you think, she stammered, her hands shaking. I had a system. I was going to win it all back. The house was going to fix everything. We could have gotten a second mortgage when we needed to pay off the debts. I watched my brother's world crumble around him like a building in controlled demolition. Part of me wanted to comfort him, but he needed to see the truth for himself, no matter how painful. How much? He asked quietly. What? How much do you owe? Vanessa's silence was more damning than any confession. Over $180,000, I answered for her. And that's just what we've been able to trace so far. Tyler put his head in his hands. I could see his shoulders shaking with suppressed emotion. The next words that came out of his mouth surprised even me. Get out, Tyler whispered, his voice barely audible. Baby, please, Vanessa started, reaching for him with trembling hands. Let me explain. Get out. Tyler roared, standing up so abruptly that he knocked over his coffee mug. You tried to steal from my sister. You forged my signature. You've been gambling away our future behind my back. Vanessa grabbed her purse, mascara running down her cheeks in black streams. Fine. But don't think this is over. I'll find a way to fix this mess, and when I do. The door slammed behind her with such force that the windows rattled. Tyler collapsed back onto the couch like a deflated balloon. I'm so sorry, Jenna, he whispered. I should have listened when you said something felt off about her. I wanted to believe someone could love me that much, that quickly. I moved to sit beside him, pulling an envelope from my bag. Here, I said softly. You'll need this. What is it? Contact information for a divorce attorney. Patricia recommended her. And proof that Vanessa has been planning this scheme from the very beginning. Tyler looked through the papers with growing horror. Text messages showing Vanessa bragging to friends about marrying into money. Bank statements showing mysterious transfers to accounts in the Cayman Islands. Casino receipts dating back to before their wedding, when she was supposedly working late at her retail job. She never loved me, did she? He asked, his voice small and broken. No, I replied gently. But that's not a reflection on you, Tyler. She's a professional con artist. She's done this before. His head snapped up. What? I pulled out the final document, a police report from Phoenix, Arizona, dated 2 years ago. Another marriage, another theft, another devastated family left in ruins. She disappeared before they could press charges, I explained. Changed her name from Victoria Marsh to Vanessa Nash and moved here to Cleveland. Started fresh with a new target. Tyler was quiet for a long time, processing everything like a computer trying to handle too much data at once. Finally, he looked at me with eyes that seemed years older than they had an hour ago. The college fund, it's safe? I nodded. Grandma taught me well. The money was moved to a secure account weeks ago. Vanessa's transfer attempts were blocked and documented. We have everything we need to press charges. Do it, he said firmly, his voice stronger now. Press charges for everything. Fraud, forgery, attempted theft, all of it. I'll testify. I'll provide whatever you need. She can't be allowed to do this to anyone else. I hugged my brother, feeling him shake with suppressed sobs and rage. I'm sorry, he whispered against my shoulder. I'm supposed to protect you, not put you in danger. Hey, I pulled back to look at him. You protected me plenty when we were kids. Let me protect you this time. The hunter was about to become the hunted. My phone buzzed with a text from Patricia. The police are ready to move on our evidence. Vanessa's previous victims have been contacted and are willing to testify. We also found 2 more aliases. She's been running this con for at least 5 years. What happens now? Tyler asked, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand. Now, I replied, standing up and straightening my shoulders, we make sure Vanessa can't destroy any more families. I paused, allowing myself a small smile. And then I have a veterinary school interview to prepare for. For the first time that day, Tyler managed a weak smile. You're really going to do it? Become a vet? That's what the money was for. That's what Grandma Rosa wanted. He nodded, fresh tears forming in his eyes. She'd be proud of you, you know. Not just for catching Vanessa, but for never giving up on your dream despite everything. I squeezed his hand. She'd be proud of you too, for being brave enough to face the truth and do the right thing. 3 months later, I stood in the Cuyahoga County Courthouse wearing my best Navy suit, the one I'd bought specifically for my veterinary school interview. My interview had gone perfectly, just as my preparation with the secured funds had allowed. But today wasn't about my future as a veterinarian. Today was about justice. Ready? Tyler asked from beside me. He looked better now, the dark circles under his eyes finally fading. The divorce papers had been filed the day after Vanessa's schemes came to light. Ready, I confirmed, clutching my leather portfolio. The courthouse was packed, but not just with us. 4 other families were there, Vanessa's previous victims from Phoenix, Denver, Miami, and Nashville. She'd used different names each time: Victoria Marsh, Veronica Martin, Violet Manning, Vivian Masters. But her strategy had always been the same: marry quickly, locate assets, forge documents, drain accounts, disappear. You don't have to do this, I told Tyler as we took our seats in the gallery. Patricia can present the evidence without your testimony. He shook his head firmly. No, I need to face her. We all do. Vanessa was led in by deputies, her designer clothes replaced by an Orange County jail jumpsuit. She'd been arrested at Cleveland Hopkins Airport 2 weeks ago, attempting to flee to Mexico with a fake passport under the name Vera Mitchell. The smug smile I remembered from her phone call was gone, replaced by a look of desperate calculation. Her eyes widened when she saw the other families. This definitely wasn't part of her plan. The proceedings moved with swift efficiency. Patricia presented our evidence methodically: the forged signatures, the gambling debts, the pattern of fraud across multiple states and marriages. Each family stood to testify, sharing nearly identical stories of trust betrayed and lives nearly ruined by Vanessa's calculated deception. When it was Tyler's turn, his voice was steady and clear. She made me believe I'd found true love, he said, looking directly at Vanessa. Instead, I nearly helped her steal my sister's future. The money she tried to take wasn't just numbers in an account, it was our grandmother's legacy, a dream of becoming a veterinarian, a future dedicated to helping animals. Vanessa doesn't just steal money. She steals hope itself. Finally, it was my turn to speak. Unlike Vanessa's other victims, I was fortunate, I began, my voice carrying clearly through the courtroom. My grandmother taught me to protect myself, to trust my instincts, to document everything. The money she left me wasn't just for education, it was a lesson in standing up for what's right. I looked directly at Vanessa, who was glaring at me with undisguised hatred. Today isn't about revenge, I continued. It's about making sure Vanessa can't destroy any more families, can't steal anyone else's dreams or futures. The judge's verdict was swift and decisive: guilty on all counts. 7 years in federal prison. Full restitution to all victims. No possibility of early release. You think this changes anything? Vanessa spat as the deputies moved to escort her away. You're still just playing pretend about veterinary school. You'll fail, and I'll be out before you finish your first year. I smiled, thinking of my grandmother's words about letting people think they've won. Actually, I replied calmly, I start veterinary school at Ohio State next month. Your attempt to steal my dream only motivated me to work harder and prepare better. So thank you, Vanessa. You taught me that sometimes the best revenge is succeeding despite those who tried to stop you. Outside the courthouse, Tyler turned to me, pulling something from his pocket. I found this, he said, holding up Vanessa's engagement ring. The one I spent 3 months' salary on. Turns out it's fake, cubic zirconia instead of diamond. Just like everything else about her. Sell it, I suggested. Use the money to start fresh, maybe take that photography course you always talked about. He shook his head, pressing the ring into my hand. No, I want you to have it. Sell it and add whatever you get to your school fund. Turn one more piece of her lies into something good. That evening, I sat in my apartment looking at my grandmother's photo on my desk. My acceptance letter from Ohio State's College of Veterinary Medicine lay beside it, along with the latest statement from my secured education fund. Everything was exactly as it should be. My phone buzzed with a text from Tyler. "Thank you for never giving up on me, even when I couldn't see the truth. And congratulations on following your dream. Grandma Rosa would be so proud." I smiled, thinking about how different things could have been if I hadn't listened to my grandmother's lessons about protecting myself. Vanessa had thought she was taking advantage of a naive dreamer, too busy studying to notice her schemes. Instead, she'd encountered someone prepared, protected, and absolutely unwilling to let anyone steal her future. I picked up my acceptance letter, running my fingers over the official seal. In just a few weeks, I'd be Dr. Jenna Rodriguez, veterinary student. Sometimes the best victories aren't just about keeping what's yours, they're about showing others that it's never too late to stand up for yourself, to pursue your dreams, to trust your instincts. And as for Vanessa? She had 7 long years to think about the fact that the quiet one she'd underestimated was now on her way to becoming Dr. Rodriguez. While she sat in a federal prison cell, her dreams of easy money finally and permanently out of reach, I'd be saving animals and living the life my grandmother had always envisioned for me. The best revenge, as it turned out, was living well, and living authentically.